Yes, Cinder, a remix of Dark Souls 3 by Rotaka. Folks, you know what that song means?
I do.
Hooray!
It means that we've been using this song for like 80 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, yes. That's... yes. Yes, it is.
But it's also time for us.
It is time for us.
It is the once a month that I get to be on this side of the stream because I haven't streamed in a while. So
I mean, you know, you'll get to that eventually. That's fine.
Yeah.
You got no rush.
Yeah, maybe. But hey, okay, all three of us are here. This is insert credits around 110.
110.
Damn.
Yeah, I know.
There's
right?
2 1s in there. Next time there's going to be 3 1s.
Yeah, make a wish.
Yeah, he dead.
He dead. I mean, well, who did? Is just the general?
We'll talk about it later.
The royal he dead.
I mean, the royal... I want to know what the royal he would be.
Probably the king, I would
imagine.
imagine.
Honestly. Well, he dead.
Welcome, everybody. I'm MrBond.
I'm Tormod.
And I'm Vlad.
This is Insert Credits. It's a monthly podcast we do about video games and video game accessories occasionally, depending on what comes up in the news, which happens to be our first segment. Then we listen to some tunes, then we talk about what we played since last time, then more tunes, and then we do some design at the end. Live on stream, podcast, well, however you are
radio
choosing
show,
to...
etc.
Yeah, whatever. Did we ever, like...
I mean, we called it a radio show to begin with.
Yeah.
And then we started also having it live on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
So that unfortunately allowed people to see us. But it made it more accessible.
It did, yes.
But also, if you want the audio-only stream, if you're not already on it, head over to audio.zerohour-productions.net.
Listen.0hour.
Listen? Whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
/ dash drat? I don't know. I'm fucking tired. We have an audio-only stream that we've been using Liquid Soap and Icecast for, that we probably have not had to touch that configuration since we put it in place.
Oh, probably not. I've had to very
ago?
minorly touch it up every now and again, but
little
never
file updates because the syntax changes.
A little text change here and there when I update the Liquid Soap itself. So, yeah.
But still, open source software, excellent documentation. It's free. That's how we began. We still haven't actually published anything to an actual podcast directory yet.
No, we were part of the... Oh, man, what was it? Liquid Soap itself had like a published directory for streams that we used to publish to.
I did not remember that.
For a while. I think it... Did they shut that down at some point? I don't know. It was meant specifically for live streams of things, of podcasts and audio and stuff like that. So we had hooked up to that for a while, and then it kind of went away, and then I just kind of went, okay, that's fine. But yeah, I think we did talk at length about all of the open source and or other things that power the show and have powered it for 10 years.
And also Seeking Infinity.
And also Seeking Infinity for another 2.5-ish years prior to that. So
that was the first time we used it, right?
I think so.
Pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Regardless,
and with us from the beginning.
Yeah, I still have bookmarks for the documentation for both of these things. I once upon a time had to know. I've since completely forgotten about.
That's all right. It still works, even though you've forgotten about it. So
yeah,
it's the mark of good, stable, long-lived software.
Hello.
Hooray. Well, housekeeping. Anyways, we've already been kind of talking about housekeeping the way it is. Next couple shows we've got scheduled out. Looks like round 111, Make a Wish, is coming up in May on the 12th. What?
Oh, fuck.
What?
That's the release date of Tears of the Kingdom. Spoilers!
We totally planned that.
I don't want to be on that date. Fuck, we're gonna be on it.
I mean, we can reschedule.
No. That just means
we're
gonna
straight from the show to playing the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have a couch upstairs.
We do.
Mostly willing host, depending.
I do want to sleep eventually that day.
Kingdom. Tears of... Yeah. Anyway, sorry. That's when that's releasing. I'll tell you more in a little bit.
My goodness. Okay. Yeah. It has been a while, like, since an actual, like, exciting release has been on Nintendo systems, right? Yeah. We've been hearing about, trailers and pushbacks and whatever for so long for that title. So it's not really that shocking that this has come up and surprised us. But anyways, 111, May 12th. 112...
You never sent me the invite
I did not.
for?
No,
okay, so was it the 16th?
It is the 16th.
Okay,
so
halfway
far.
through the month.
Yeah, and then 113. Ooh, another special number. Looks like either the 14th or the 21st of July would be okay.
Let's go ahead and do the 14th.
14th.
But also, why
Very
is
good.
one... Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha. I had to think about that one.
Yes.
I was like, that's the ident daemon port. Why is that?
Also that, I suppose. I mean, I could try to spin it like that too, but...
Once upon a time, I was on IRC. That was 20 years ago.
I mean, you could still technically be on IRC. That's already
true.
Exists still. But all right, 113 for the 14th of July, and I'll send out updates to you
Sounds great.
about both of those. And then that marks our 3 out. That's about as well as we can do.
Good enough for me.
There was one other thing that we needed to announce, though. However, coming up in the next
calendar year.
Calendar year. Yeah, that was the wording we settled upon.
Yeah. So I guess I kind of foreshadowed to this, alluded to it, foreshadowed, whatever.
Both.
I'm really fucking tired.
Both literacy
Hi,
terms
it's been a week.
apply, I guess.
Okay, so we've been using the same opener and closer for years, literally years.
Multiple years, yes.
Like at least 4 years.
Several,
probably
in fact.
8, honestly. So it's kind of time to switch things up a little bit, maybe. I just had this idea like literally 2 minutes before the show. Finally, after most of a decade. In any case, so obviously the music that we play on the stream is legally available to us, we'll say, because the rights for OC Remix, with the rare exception of a few songs, good to use, obviously give attribution to the artist and whatnot, and obviously OC Remix. There are other sources that we've used in the past as well. So, if you have any recommendations for us, obviously, feel free to probably hit you up, considering you stream on Twitch and have Discord. No, do you? Where is your community these days?
Yes, it's still on Discord.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Haven't attempted to move because, of course, we went through that whole rigmarole of, NFTs, blah, 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 whatever. And it's like, and then he backed off, and I was like, oh, okay, fine, whatever.
Go to MrBond's Discord.
Yes, I have
What's
a
the
Discord.
link for that?
Discord.questforsemiglory.com.
With the number 4.
No.
Really?
Really, no.
Really?
Yeah,
damn.
the domain name is
You got
normal.
the real thing?
What do you mean? How much demand do you think there is for
I
Glory?
swear it was the number 4.
I had to use the number 4 on Twitter because of total name length limits.
Yeah, okay. Well, hey, the word 4 without a U there.
Correct, yes. That would have been another good pun, though. Like, I wish I would have thought of that 8 years ago.
Well, it's coming around. You can do Quest 14 Semi-Glory if you're doing it.
No.
It's fine. Regardless, this guy's got a community.
Anyways,
Go over to his Discord. Suggest some songs, either for openers or closers, or even if you want to hear them, maybe. I mean, I'm always up for suggestions if people want to hear songs.
Yeah, it did take us quite a bit to settle on the present ones as well.
Yeah.
It's on the order of several hours going back and forth between various candidates. A lot of strong ones, which is what makes it so difficult.
Yeah. But, yeah, game suggestions for remixes we should look for, even specific songs, whatever. Head over to that Discord and, tell MrBond what to do.
I mean, I reserve the right not to listen. as anyone does, they have the right to do that. But,
that's fair.
Of course, because there's so much out there, I mean, we don't mind a little shove in a direction or two.
Preferably a good one.
Yeah, preferably a good one, of course, ideally. But yeah, so we're going to try to update those songs in the next calendar year or so. We've been talking about it vaguely for... probably more than a year.
Usually all within the first couple minutes before the show, like, geez, we should really do something about this. Promptly forget about it. Yeah. I mean, they're good songs, Brent.
They are good songs, but they're all good songs, Brent.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that wraps housekeeping. Let's get to some news. So a lot of cool release and new release announcement stuff going on here. Everspace 2 just released in full last week. It was in early access for a year and a half, somewhere around that.
I remember the first game.
Oh, yeah.
I feel old. Again.
I mean, welcome. Anyways, Everspace 2 just released. Very cool, very exciting. I will say one thing I am personally disappointed by, which is shared by a number of other folks that kind of collaborate on the same thing, is that they had promised native Linux support from day one. That promise was dropped a few days prior to release, and it wasn't communicated very well. It was in a footnote or in a very brief mention on one of their pre-release trailers, as well as in their Discord community, not under a very bold heading. So I missed it until like the day before release. So that's a bummer to hear about. It really is. Because full disclosure, I did back the Kickstarter for Everspace 2 at a higher level than perhaps I normally would, because of that promise.
Stretch goals.
Yes, stretch goals and all, and I like to support companies that support my OS of choice, of course. But of course, I'm also a professional developer by trade, so I understand how that shit goes.
Yeah. So are they going to make good on it, or are they just giving up?
No, they've dropped it. There's been no word about bringing it back. However, they have committed very strongly towards support through Proton, and Proton being a very good gateway into Linux-ish support. It's not native support, of course, but it does support a number of games that normally would not be playable under Linux. So, that's a good measure and all, and I appreciate that for sure. But I'm still rightfully disappointed that they did not make good on their initial promise for native Linux support.
Understandable.
But, the game's fun. I like it. I play it anyways. And I really enjoy what they've put together. And I look forward to what I have yet to see in the game, because I've only been playing it for, a week or so since release, about 20-ish hours in. I know some folks have already said they've completed the entire thing, main game, all the way through. Like, wow, I wish I had that time.
Oh.
But the time I've spent with it has been very pleasant, and it's been very performant through Proton, so hooray. Other release news, just yesterday, the second DLC for Vampire Survivors dropped.
I learned something interesting about that game today, apparently.
Oh? Yeah?
It won the best game at the BAFTA Game Awards.
Oh, shit, really?
Beating God of War, Ragnarok, and a bunch of other games. Because apparently...
That's funny.
The game designer for that game used to work in the gambling industry.
Oh.
And, really got good game psychology and reward giving and whatnot.
Interesting.
And it's really easy to drop into. You play with arrow keys and that's it.
Yep.
That's all you do.
Yep.
So it's really easy to do. It's rewarding. It keeps people addicted. You keep going to the next level, etc. I haven't played it. I just read about this today because the BAFTA stuff came up recently 2 weeks ago in the news.
I will say it is very well paced. Yeah, I do agree with the entirety of that assessment, actually. Plus, it's a very reasonably priced DLC, $2. And you get 8 more characters, another level, a lot more music, 7 more weapons, etc., etc. So it's pretty good. It's pretty darn good. The first DLC that they had dropped not too long ago, even, was also a very good expansion and very well paced and very well designed and all that stuff. So, in short, Vampire Survivors, very good game. Please go get it, go play it. Works very well on the Steam Deck. It works very well on desktop platforms, whatever. And it's towards an indie dev, so support indie devs. So that's cool. Other kind of releasey related things, a mod for Half-Life Alyx has been released that removes the requirement of VR.
Oh.
Yeah. So now you can play it without having a VR headset, and apparently it plays very well. Yeah, minus a few segments that are clearly designed for VR to be able to, look one way and point off and do something else another way, right?
Sure.
But you're not going to be able to do that with keyboard and mouse or gamepad. But presumably the vast majority of the game plays very well with the very, very standard control schemes. So that's cool to see. I would definitely want to play that game, since that's considered, if not the actual Half-Life 3, then a step closer to Half-Life 3. So with Valve's allergies to the number 3 and all things. Yeah.
It just reminds me of the whether they're trolling or not, the comment in the source code of something in the last, I don't remember what is that.
Yeah,
I swear it was a release or a mention rather of Left 4 Dead 3.
Yeah.
Target none or whatever it said. It has to be trolling, honestly. They
At
know
this
people
point,
pour
yes,
over that stuff.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. It has to be.
It has to. Yeah.
But whatever. So that's been well received since, which is good to hear. the Resident 4 Evil remake has received some cheat codes. More or less. That's more or less what they are. But not in the form that any of us are familiar with when we hear the word cheat codes. It's essentially pay-to-win microtransactions.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Capcom.
Exactly.
I,
What the hell?
I want my
man?
linear launcher, and I want to deserve it. Well, I guess I want to earn it, and therefore I can deserve it.
There you go.
I am really tired. Holy shit. Linear launcher, though. I'm not going to pay for that shit. It's not fair.
I know, right? We worked very hard to get that,
We
didn't
fucking did. Also, though, Dark Side Chronicles, was that the one?
I think that was the one
'Cause
that
there was-
had it, yeah.
There were two games.
There was Umbrella
that-
Chronicles, I think.
Yes, that was the
before
other
that
on Rails one.
Yeah,
Yeah, gosh.
and then Dark Side Chronicles after that. So yeah, anyway, so it's essentially cheat code stuff. You get free money and weapon upgrades and all this other stuff. And it's just like, really? I mean, this stuff, what happened? What the hell happened? Come on, man. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna save this particular item until your related stuff because it dovetails very well into that.
Fair.
Nintendo has committed to unlimited free repairs for Joy-Cons that exhibit Joy-Con drift in Europe, and Europe only.
And also, what is it, 4 or 5, 6 years now that the Switch has been
6.
out?
Yeah.
It's 2017.
Was it
Wow.
2017? Yeah.
Fairly certain.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've fixed at least 2 sets of Joy-Cons myself since then.
Oh, goody. Well, I mean, to their credit, it's fixable on Joy-Cons that are actually removable, so not the Switch Lite. Easily fixable. More easily fixable, I should say. It sucks that consumers have to do their own fixes if they live outside of Europe. There was a class action suit stateside in the United States here that was tossed out at the federal level. There is still one pending in, I forget which state, I should have looked it up, bad me. But there is still one kind of pending somewhat related to that. But, I mean, congrats, Europe. With your stronger consumer protection laws, this is what you get, which I wish we could take a page from your book about this sort of thing over here.
I was able to send all of my pairs of Joy-Cons in for free repairs at one point.
They had a warranty on them, but it didn't cover everything and or forever.
Correct. And it was never like an official commitment from Nintendo. They
Yeah.
probably did it because they were
They're
rightfully
goodwilling it. Yeah.
getting bad press about it.
And I think they were still charging shipping on a lot of those types of
That
things
could
as
also be
well.
true.
I don't remember. It was when I was living at the other place.
So yeah, so quite some time ago. I mean, within warranty, or perhaps very shortly thereafter, because Nintendo didn't want to make more of a stink about it, apparently. But yeah, good for you, Europe. You get free Joy-Con repairs. Now, this is a hardware issue that perhaps could be rectifiable. Hall effect field sensors instead of ye old standard mechanicals. So
Magnets.
I know, right? How do they work?
Yes.
Apparently very well. But yeah. Okay, that's the extent of my news until we get to a certain section of yours, and then I will have an add-on.
Fair enough. All right. So, Tears of the Kingdom. I already talked about that, sort of. It's being released on the day of our next show. So that's going to be
111.
May 12th. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. They had their third and final pre-launch trailer, I guess, yesterday. 3 minutes. Holy shit.
It's a long trailer.
Yes. So, the other trailers, there were like 2-ish.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
It was like 2 point something, kind of, because there was like the
Oh,
super
there's,
early teaser
like,
trailer.
The 10-second intro, and then like the 15-second outro of all the logos.
Yeah.
and, So yeah, probably about 2 minutes.
So they really held their cards close because holy shit, did that show a lot of stuff that had no hinting at or anything before. Wow. Yeah, we're gonna watch it before going home tonight, but I already watched it. I'm excited. Ganondorf is hot. Holy shit. Like, goddamn, he rehydrated well. But
Was he dehydrated at some point?
well, I mean, like, the first trailer when he was dead in the catacombs, we assume that's Ganondorf, with the whole finger that like
okay,
the
yeah.
weird shit. Yeah. I think that might
That probably,
be-
yeah. All right, that's fair. That's fair.
because the resurrection of the Prince of Evil or King,
Oh
whatever the fuck it
yeah,
is.
blood of the hero, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's. Anyway, yeah.
All right,
So
easy.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game. Holy shit! There is so much speculation that I can't talk about right now because I haven't showed the
No
trailer
spoilers.
yet.
Come on.
Nope, I'm not. Go look for it. It's so good. I think it's better than the pre-launch trailer for Breath of the Wild, and that was really up there.
I don't think I ever actually saw that one. Well, not before the fact, rather.
So, okay, let me put this in a different way. Do you remember watching the pre-launch trailer for Skyward Sword?
Yes.
Had this big orchestral thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then a few hours later, people are like, "What if we played this backwards?" And it was Zelda's Lullaby the whole time.
Oh right, yeah.
It was as impactful as
Same
that.
deal. Okay. Okay,
Like,
I get you.
Holy shit! I'm really looking forward to this. It's gonna be super great. But speaking of Breath of the Wild, so there was a YouTuber whose name I don't remember. Apparently, things happened with that today. But in any case, there was a YouTuber who put a bounty out for $10,000 for somebody to make a multiplayer mod
Oh.
of Breath of the Wild,
What the hell?
and somebody finally delivered. And apparently it worked in client-server format because there was like this demo of 18 links happening at the same time, and it all worked.
Okay.
And you could have PvP too.
Okay.
well,
yeah.
you know this isn't official Nintendo stuff because it sounds like functioning network gameplay.
Yeah. Anyway, Nintendo's lawyers didn't really
Oh,
like
of
that.
course they didn't.
And they, of course, went after not only the developers of the mod, or the group of people. I guess it was one group that came together so they could do whatever
Okay.
with the money. But they went after the person who commissioned this and kept copyright striking his channel until he finally gave up and got rid of the mod.
Oh my.
So he spent 10,000 plus whatever money he spent trying to fight off
Oh
Nintendo's
my
lawyers,
God.
and it's gone.
Well, that stinks.
I'm sure you can't find that anywhere.
No,
So,
it's no. Once you take something off the internet, it's gone forever.
yeah. So maybe have a look at YouTube and watch some gameplay because it looked really cool. So I'm sure we'll never see this again. Oh, let's see here. Let's continue on the Nintendo thing. So Koji Kondo, what an honor. The Super Mario Brothers theme was the first video game music composition that was added to the Library of Congress very recently. So, I mean, good timing with the whole Super Mario Brothers movie and whatnot. but-
Right.
Which
right.
apparently is now the #1 grossing opening for an animated film.
sounds right.
It beat out Frozen 2.
Frozen 2 really got.
I guess.
suppose. Okay.
So props to the folks who made that movie because apparently it worked out, and Jack Black apparently made a really good Bowser Daddy.
I mean, in the trailers that I saw, he was pretty much the standout.
Like, I didn't actually watch any trailers, or I also haven't seen the movie yet. I kind of
Right,
want
yeah.
to now because everybody I've talked to have seen it,
Yeah,
really
I've
liked it.
heard very good things about it, which a lot of the people I've talked to about it have shared my same reservations about a certain voice actor within. So,
Yeah.
but
Apparently they
despite that,
like
yeah.
made the script in such a way where it didn't make it really obvious. They intentionally wrote his part in a way that wouldn't anyway.
Interesting. Okay.
So this isn't the late 80s Super Mario Brothers movie, which is
Unfortunately,
actually really
yes,
good.
I do like it.
A lot of people don't.
I know.
But
Well,
they
a
don't
lot
have
of
taste.
a lot of people are wrong. So
I do remember falling asleep while watching that with you once, but I woke up to Goomba smashing, so it was great. It's great.
You can like or dislike whatever you choose. We're just having some fun.
Yeah. I do recommend watching the 80s version and
You
then
really
seeing
should.
this one because obviously technology has changed a lot. But yeah, Koji Kondo, fantastic video game composer, also has written the music for the Legend of Zelda series. Oh boy, again, go watch that trailer. That music is fantastic. Oh, let's see here. Right. So
Battle
I'm
series.
avoiding those things.
Right. But
April Fools came around this year.
Yeah.
And the night before April Fools, we got a new addition to Steam from Sega with a game called The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. He dead. Or at least he was. Sort of.
Well, I mean, if Sega says he did, and he did.
Spoilers, I guess.
He's
He
not
didn't-
dead.
Yeah.
Aw.
Didn't actually die.
But just go play the game. It's free. It's free. It's like 3.5 hours of content if you are bad at Sonic bonus levels like we are.
It's a surprisingly competent visual novel.
Yeah, it's a visual novel.
It's a
You get to
visual
make
novel.
choices. You have to click on stuff.
With the Sonic bonus levels in it.
With Sonic
So
bonus
between
With
like
Sonic-ish bonus levels. Okay. Yeah.
chapters, I guess, you have to complete Sonic bonus levels.
I see.
You can
Okay.
adjust the difficulty if you suck at them, like we do. You did really well, though.
Yeah, we got through all of them. It's fine.
Yeah. I gave up after like 2. I was like, that's enough for me. It's your turn now.
I want to hear the story.
Yeah. But I mean, it was really cute, honestly. Like, everybody stayed in character. And apparently I don't remember who actually made the game. Obviously, Sega published it. But basically, they came to Sega earlier in the year. They're like, so we got this idea. Please don't sue us. And they were like, fuck yeah, do it. Let's go. And of course, it was released on April 1st.
As you do.
Surprisingly cute game. I actually liked it. And I hate Amy. She was kind of okay.
Oh, so you hate Amy in general, but
In
this
general,
in
yeah.
this sense, in this game, she was tolerable.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of centered around her in a way.
I see. Okay.
No further story spoilers there. But in any case, it was cute. Go play it. It was free.
I'm guessing this was a smaller-ish studio that did this then.
Probably.
Okay.
Maybe.
See what happens when you give like long-standing IPs to smaller studios and say like, "Hey, you
Who
can do
are big
something,"
fans of the series.
right? You can get some really cool shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine what happens when you don't go after them for every little tiny thing.
Yeah. I'm very happy that none of these ROM decompilation projects have gotten too much legal issues because people were very smart in not including any assets. Good job.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. So, one final thing before the good and the bad, we'll say.
Yeah. I suppose.
Valve, they figured out how to reduce the Steam Deck's shader cache disk space requirements by half.
Damn.
So, have fun with all of your new space, I guess.
Okay, I am not even close to using all of it, but all right. It's good to know.
Thumbs up. I don't know how they did that, but
Very smart folks, I suppose.
yeah. Yeah. Ah! Fuck. All right, I'm going to do these in a row because they kind of like do the thing. All right, so Tinovo DRM. I had the pleasure of explaining exactly what it was to somebody who lives with us yesterday. Fuck Denuvo.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on, Capcom has done a solid and removed that DRM from Resident Evil Village. They already got all of their cash out of that, pretty much. They're like, fuck it. It's causing performance problems. Way too many support tickets. Let's get rid of it. Hooray! Cool.
Hooray! Good job.
So, yeah. Cool. Redfall? That game? Yeah, okay. So, Redfall is releasing with it. Because why not throw De Novo in? Oh no, we're
Right.
having performance problems. We can't get above 30 FPS. What do? They're releasing at 4K 30. with a 60 FPS performance mode coming in a later patch. People are like, really?
And that patch is probably removing Denuvo, I would imagine.
I have no idea.
One would hope.
The game isn't released yet. Yeah. Cool. Okay, but okay, Square Enix? I said I wasn't buying Triangle Strategy until there was a crack for it or they removed Denuvo DRM. And guess which happened first?
They removed Denuvo, didn't they?
They did.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Okay.
And they also removed it from Valkyrie Elysium.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with that game,
Nor
but
am
apparently
I,
it's
but
yet
good.
another RPG because Square Enix. But okay, it's now on my wish list. And by it, I mean Triangle Strategy because I don't know about the other thing. But it's on my actual Steam wish list. They're still charging $60 for it. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'm willing to pay the money when it goes on sale, if it ever does. Outside of Switch, because apparently the Switch version's gone on sale as cheap as $40.
Really?
Yeah.
I would usually expect the other way around on that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so it's still $60 for the normal version,
Huh.
and then they have this
Wild.
digital deluxe version. What the fuck game was it? Okay, you know how Octopath was Project Octopath,
Mm-hmm.
and then this was Project Triangle Strategy?
Mm-hmm.
There's another stupidly named 2-word thing in the same font. If you get this digital deluxe bundle, it comes with that one. It's like something Day Life. It's the weirdest
Day
name, but
Uh,
it's kind of designed by folks who worked both on Octopath and Bravely.
okay.
And it kind of looks like they actually got a good mesh together, even though the game doesn't have great ratings. I'm kind of curious, but $67, you can get the digital deluxe version, and then you get that game too. So they're both on my wish
Oh,
list.
I see. Okay, so it's bundled in as part of a.
Yeah,
All right. Okay,
something. Yeah. So
I get you.
yeah, we'll see. Ship a game called Internal Test Do Not Distribute.
That sounds about right.
Why not?
Project internal test. Do not
That's
discriminate.
But that's not 2 words.
You're right. It is.
So
Yeah.
it's Project Internal Test Do and then not distribute. Got it.
Final. Use this one copy.
So Denuvo DRM, awfully shitty. What have you got to say on that, Mr. Bond?
So there is an additional news item pertaining to Denuvo DRM, which is unfortunately the opposite of what we've been talking about it being removed from all these titles. So Bethesda,
Oh no.
it already starts bad. A year after Ghostwire Tokyo was released in 2022, they have decided to add Denuvo to this.
Why?
Why is a good question. Because typically it's usually the reverse, and in some cases they've removed it prior to release because, oops, Denuvo doesn't do a very good job of stopping piracy. Who can imagine? So yeah, there's speculation that there's upcoming DLC for Ghostwire Tokyo that they are trying to now reapply some piracy protection against it to prevent cracking the DLC or whatever the heck it happens to be.
Okay.
Still seems like a really stupid move.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's a stupid move to have put it on there to begin with, not privacy and security concerns notwithstanding. But to add it on a year after release is just, I don't get it. I don't understand.
I just had an idea.
Mm?
So you, Linux user.
Uh-huh.
Obviously there are games, several, that still use Denuvo.
Mm-hmm.
How do those function at all, if they do, with Proton?
I don't know. There are other anti-cheat systems that have had specific updates to function through Proton.
Huh.
Easy Anti-Cheat comes to mind. I think is that the Valve one? I don't remember. Oh no, I think that's the Epic Games one. But there is a Valve Anti-Cheat also that is specifically built to now support Proton because
I
Valve
think
is
that
the
one's just called
Right.
Valve Anti-Cheat.
Is it just Valve Anti-Cheat,
Because I
VAC?
remember VAC bans being a big
Ah,
thing back
yeah.
in the day.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. Oh, that's
So
what that stood for.
my guess, and this is purely speculative because I haven't really looked at it, is that any game that has de novo as part of it probably does not work or works but is highly degraded through Proton.
Well, that sucks.
Um,
Here I was thinking there was like this. Ah, haha! Linux users get the final laugh. Okay.
No, because a lot of that stuff comes down to Ring 0, kernel level access, and Proton doesn't work like that.
Nope.
It doesn't magically grant shit access to the kernel, which is good, by the way.
Yeah. That's why I was kind of hoping, like,
Yeah.
oh, gee, darn, they can't do this. I guess it'll just work without it. I was hoping that.
Maybe there might be a stronger impetus to that now that Proton is taking off a little bit. Now that supporting it would grant access to these companies to the Steam Deck install base, user base. So
Yeah.
that might be encouragement to either ditch Denuvo altogether, which would be the ideal state, or such that certain Denuvo protections are adjusted that they would work through Proton. Which I don't see happening, but I could be surprised. Oh, really? Denuvo works fine in Proton. Huh, interesting. I guess I don't know. I don't have any personal experience with it because I don't play Denuvo protected games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally don't go and get cracks. Anyway.
No, never seek out the ability to consume the things you paid for.
Just to me, seems like adding something like that after the fact is, if anything, going to encourage piracy because there is already a not cracked, fully working DRM-free version of the
Right.
game that you sold to people for a year. Like, if I were interested in playing the game and I had the choice between giving you money and getting a, Denuvo protected version and then just getting the version you were selling last year from, somewhere else, it seems like a no-brainer.
And now say you already bought the game, installed it, and auto updates, and now suddenly you've got Denuvo along with it. How would you feel?
Yeah.
I'd feel pretty fucking bad and pissed off, but that's just me. So I don't know. It's such a bizarre play. I don't get it. I'm almost certain like we should be pretty confident in saying there's money involved with it. So
Yeah.
as there typically is.
Bethesda.
Yeah.
Mufasa.
What a shame, because I really like Doom. Doom Eternal is a good game. And Doom 2016 is a good game. And it's by Bethesda. I
Don't
hate
those
it.
have Denuvo? I'm looking this up.
I don't know. Maybe they did at one point. And I know Doom 2016 works fine on Proton.
All right. Well, the first thing I found was an article from Eurogamer. In 2020, Doom Eternal removing Denuvo anti-cheat after backlash. Do it again!
We probably even talked about it on the show.
Probably. It's 3 years ago.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. That's 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
At
you
any
know
rate,
that Doom 2016 was 7 years ago?
Yeah, I mean that's how numbers work.
Yeah.
I do remember playing it and liking it. It was a nice game. But whatever.
Ah, yes. Doom 2016 had Denuvo removed with update 5.
There you
This
go.
is adding it with update ? Because Bethesda doesn't support their shit much anymore. So,
Bizarre.
a little bit.
Well, whatever. Okay. Was that the last of the news then between both of us
Yeah.
since we saved that for last? All right. Very good. So time for Toonski.
All right. Honestly, I don't remember a whole lot about Super Mario Brothers 2. I was a wee lad when I played that game. I don't know if this is pronounced Moo or Mew. I'm going to call it Mew.
Okay. That's
Cool.
fair.
We start with The Mew Dream Machine by Zalef from Super Mario Brothers 2, going into Club Lavender from First Generation Pokemon by Ruxton, and ending with Watercolors by Mental from Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest.
All right, on to section 2 tonight. What we've been playing since last time. It's been a good old solid month yet again, and here we are yet again. So what we've been playing? What's good? What's awesome?
Damn you, Renby. The only thing I've really put any time into at all was Doodle World again, which is the Roblox Pokemon
Okay.
Totally Not a Pokemon game.
Right. Okay. I was about to say that sounds like the Roblox thing from last time.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And it has...
That's fine. Hey, if it's still good, like, why not?
It's the most entertaining Pokemon game I've played. Okay. Mechanics speaking there only. But, like... Damn, they added a lot of really interesting things that I think would absolutely translate well to an actual Pokemon game. No wonder when they were called Project Pokemon, the lawyers went after them. Anyway, yeah, no, that is it's a free-to-play game on that whatever you would call Roblox experience. Sorry, it's an experience. Yeah,
platform framework. I don't know.
yeah,
Something like that.
They just had an update recently. It was not this last Saturday. Was it this last? Yeah, it was this last Saturday. Where they opened up an optional area of the game, which added no story content, and I quickly played to get caught up to Renby, and now I'm caught up, and I did the optional stuff for a little bit, and it was like, cool. I haven't played it since then. So we'll see if I get to playing anything that's not a Roblox game. That would be cool. But I don't remember playing anything else this month. Do you remember me playing anything?
You started Ni no Kuni, but was that
That's
last month?
true. No, that was like 2 weeks ago. Okay, so I played an hour-ish of Ni no Kuni, the first one, because
Okay.
it was remastered
Yeah.
and I have it on Steam. I don't know when I bought that, but I did. So I played that. It was okay.
Was there a second one in the series that wasn't just the remaster?
Yeah,
or
I
whatever?
think it's like Wrath of the White Witch or something.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
But yeah, it's okay. I didn't really get too far into it other than like the required exposition. And I got to a point where I could actually start battling things, and I was like, cool, I'm done for now.
Yeah, it's very slow to start from a gameplay standpoint. It's, really story and art heavy in the first bit,
Which
makes
Studio
sense.
Ghibli.
Right, yeah, okay.
So
It's an RPG?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about the story yet, but there's like this like parallel worlds thing going on, and people having counterparts between those two worlds and
Okay.
stuff like that. So
Right.
Magics.
the magic.
Magic kick.
Yeah, there we go. It was
All
the
right.
wrong consonant there.
Perfect.
But I'm probably gonna pick it up again. Probably. It's been really hard to get myself to like sit down and just play a game lately of anything that requires attention. Like the story is really interesting so far, but it's just so much story, and I'm like, that requires an attention span that I just don't have these days. I wish I were kidding.
Yeah.
I will go back to it though. Was there anything else?
I just happened to remember that part of why it took forever is because you kept trying to go every place that you shouldn't, but
Well, that's what you do in
that's par for the
RPGs.
course.
It really is. You stay away from the critical path.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's called. Right.
Hey,
I
I'm sure
relearned
there's
something today.
other names for it, I'm sure. Yeah.
But there are other things that I would like to play at some point. I'm still sitting on that Final Fantasy VI Pixel remaster. I know how that game goes, but like nothing about what the remaster did. So that would be nice. That would probably be like a 50-hour time sink though, and that's something I was like, I need to play this on stream. Which means I have to stream.
Hey, that's motivation to get you to do that. I guess it works, but
Maybe.
You're getting there.
It's going to be more difficult to convince myself to do that when I actually have to travel for work.
oof.
Now,
It's only 3 days a week.
yeah. But then we have like other adult things to do, like make a meal and buy the groceries and cry about finances and
You
Yep.
can do that on the other days. It's fine.
but the other days I'm actually home and I
in
can
addition
stream
to
You know
the
what I
other
mean.
days.
yeah,
You don't have to do that on the other days. Whatever.
that's fair. I don't know. I really want to play stuff. Tetris has been kind of calling to me a little bit more lately because it's been fun watching you.
Hmm.
And some of those effect modes in Tetris Effect, um, are actually really fun.
They added a few. That was within the last month or so,
Yeah,
right?
I suppose it was.
I was not expecting them to update the game and add new modes or anything because it's been out for a while.
Wow.
But
Okay.
they did
That's cool.
throw a couple new things in. So
Yeah, well, you ended up getting some new achievements recently.
yeah, I mean, I got the one finally where I got an A or above in every effect mode and got the little Chivo for it.
Woo!
I think at this point I have all of the Xbox achievements short of the ones that are um like reaching level 100 where you just have to play the game long enough, and there's one for getting an S everywhere possible in the game that you can get a letter rating, which I doubt I'll ever achieve, but it's there if someone has the dedication to do that. But yeah, I've been playing a good bit more Tetris. I've been improving significantly at some specific skills, so that's been nice. That is one of the things that I do like about that game is it has a lot of more focused game modes that let you practice specific kind of skills and situations in Tetris rather than just having to get better at everything all at once.
Do the Tetris thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You've played more than just that, though.
Yeah, it's just segueing off of your thing. I wasn't sure if you were done.
I've been struggling
Sounds
to
like
think
it.
of other things that I would have played.
Fair
so
enough.
You may as well continue.
There you go. Well, proceed then.
Otherwise, I have been playing a little bit more Minecraft. Nothing too much of note to say there other than Minecraft, as always, is Minecraft. It's enjoyable. I started I started Hi-Fi Rush, the rhythm action platform beat 'em up game, which is trying to do a lot, but it's fun. It's zany. I've enjoyed it so far. Certainly the character and world design are pretty up there. The gameplay's taken some getting used to. I feel like the rhythm system is a little bit vague in some ways. Like it's there and you do better when you pay attention to it, but the game doesn't really help you pay attention to it as well as it could. But that could be, I'm not super well versed in rhythm games that are anything other than strictly rhythm games where you have a map and you have visuals of each note and you're very,
I see.
this is what you're doing. I haven't played too many other, games that try to blend rhythm gaming with other genres. So
Does it punish you for deviating from the rhythm?
yes and no. You get scores for each combat. Your scores are better if you're on time more. Your attacks hit better if you play them on the notes. So the way it works is you can press an attack button at any time, but your character will only actually attack on the beat.
I see. Okay.
So if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
early or late, you can, miss combos or other such things. But it does incentivize you well for, playing on the beat, dodging on the beat, parrying on the beat, that sort of thing. And there are plenty of combos that have some interesting timing and that sort of thing. But it's all kind of a lot to keep track of, and it doesn't help you out too much with it. So it's been a balance.
I don't expect you to say yes to this, but did you ever actually see Final Fantasy XIII's combat?
No.
Okay, so your goal in that is to fill up an enemy's stagger gauge.
Okay.
So once they're
Yeah.
staggered, you do much more damage to them. It's kind of the same thing where if you continue doing things on the beat, making good combos, not dropping the combo, I guess, because I mean that's like any other game that has combos.
Right.
That meter gets filled up a lot faster. That's how you get your score. You start with a E, I think it is,
Yeah, it does a letter
and
grade thing
it
overall.
keeps spinning
but
until you get to like S and double
it
S and
has
whatnot.
see, okay.
separate grades as well for like how fast you cleared it or how on the beat were you or that sort of thing.
But
But,
that
you know,
grading system, yeah.
They do a lot of, working in mechanics from both genres into each other. You have bonus attacks if you get to the end of a combo and make an input, you get a bonus attack and stuff like that. And they do have that literal stagger gauge for larger enemies where you can't stun them or stun lock them until their stagger gauge is
Right,
depleted, that
yeah,
sort of thing. So
Okay.
And I will say that the boss fights that you've played so far have been unique.
oh yeah,
So it's not
yeah.
like it's just a reskin of things you've already done.
No, they have a lot of fun with the world design. Each level's kind of distinct and has different environmental hazards and movement tech and those sorts of things. So they've kind of gradually introduced new things as it goes. It's been pretty fresh so far.
I really liked Rekka.
Yeah,
She was honestly fun.
yeah. A lot of the just because of the storyline and the nature of it, a lot of the characters and kind of themes throughout the game are just like parodies of corporate culture, and so there's some
Okay.
pretty colorful bosses and whatnot in there.
Rekka, though.
Rekka is the head of quality assurance, who ensures that no defects leave the factory by destroying all of them.
Cough, cough. You're a defect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
it's a good time.
Yeah. Just angry super boss of a lady. And, like, minor spoilers. After you defeat her, you get a champion's belt, basically. Because she's like this wrestling.
Yeah, she does the
queen.
whole WWE thing.
I
Yeah,
see. Okay.
It's just so far they've done an excellent job with the style and making it the same kind of mood throughout. It doesn't
Mhm.
have these weird deviations or anything. It's just very consistently the same kind of like build up and everything. The cadence is really good.
it's been good.
No pun intended, but yeah, it's real fun to watch.
Hi-Fi Rush, huh?
Yeah.
I think that was released around the same time as Metal Hellsinger, and it was that one that landed on my plate first.
Gotcha. Well, hey.
But hey, there's another good one to
It
try out.
is also on Game Pass, is it not? So
Yes.
that's how I've been playing it. So
That's how we get exposed to a lot of things is, ooh, it's on Game Pass.
So it's
Yeah,
weird
sure.
because like it seems like a boom or bust kind of thing. Sometimes Game Pass has a lot of really great games on it.
Mhm,
Other times it's
mhm.
hard to find anything that I want to play. So, granted, there is the inevitable kind of Steam syndrome where I have all these games downloaded on the machine that I don't actually get around to starting because they sounded really interesting, but then when I
Right.
go to want to play something, it never feels right.
So many things, but I don't have anything to play.
Yeah, yep. There's no
Yeah.
food in the fridge.
Yeah. Right.
But you keep looking anyway.
Oh boy. All right. So is that the extent?
That was
All
the
right.
majority of it, yeah.
Very good. Very good. So when we last aired, I had gotten into the middle of Shovel Knight Dig. I'm now complete on Shovel Knight Dig, by which I mean I made it through a run. I completed the game. I got the end
Hooray.
credits and the fancy trophy and the whatever. In the middle of my playthroughs of all that stream-wise for over like the month and a half or whatever, they released a DLC called Fame and Fortune.
Cool.
Or Fate and Fortune, excuse me, which added additional hard modes on top of everything,
Oh.
of which I have seen one, because you have to complete one before you move to the next, and then the next, and the next, and etc. But it was a very good game for a very long time, and I enjoyed myself very thoroughly with it. Especially with that same DLC release, they added a quality of life thing to not automatically do a down attack whenever you jump.
Yes, you mentioned this last time.
Did I? Oh,
Yep.
okay. So, all right. That helped out a great deal.
Nice.
That was very nice of them to put that in there. There's since been another patch that increases its effectiveness or more makes it more consistent when you want it to actually activate, which has also been very good. But yeah, so I'm done playing that on stream. I'm still playing that a little bit in between because it is, a fun game, and I want to see some of the other hard modes too. Like,
Sure.
let me play the damn thing.
Yep.
It's still very difficult. But after that, I moved on to Octahedron. This is an older quote unquote game from 2017 or something.
Very old.
That's-
Yeah, I know, right?
Breath of the Wild age, gosh.
I know, but it's something that I've had in my library forever, and it looks cool. It's a very neon-esque thing. Action puzzle platformer, side-scrolling. You collect a bunch of stuff, and you get to the exit. And it's supposed to be rhythm-like, where they do provide you a very steady beat to work to, but there's no punishment for missing it. There's no incentive for matching it. I mean, other than probably flow state or whatever. But it is it's a very good visual spectacle. Very photosensitivity warning right at the start too, because of how visually spectacular it is. So I think I'm about halfway through by now. It's been a week-ish. So plan to finish that up in the following week. On the SBC side of things, we have our new shmup for a month of April is Change Airblade. It's a competitive fighting shmup. At least it's designed that way. You could do that with two people, where one player has the top half of the screen, the other player has the bottom half, and you're trying to shmup each other, right? So it's interesting. It hasn't received quite the level of excitement from all of us in the SBC as I think it deserves. I think it's a very unique concept, but it has been rather fun to play for the short bit of time we've had this month with it. On the quarterly front, we have Castle Shikigami 2 for second quarter of 2023. This one is almost notorious for its, I don't want to say bad English voice acting, because it's certainly better than some English dub voice acting I've heard for some of these originally outside of the US titles. But it certainly has some very funny script to it. And then the delivery is also very funny in some respects as well. Some of the characters do not match the voices at all. There is a 17-year-old high school student or whatever. It sounds like a 40-year-old voiced him, which is, I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. But it's just so off-putting sometimes. Be like, okay, this dude should be not necessarily squeaky, but a little higher pitched than this deep, like gruff 40-year-old sounding dude. So whatever. And some of the lines as they're delivered sound like you're missing the second half of a phone call from somebody on the other side, because it doesn't make sense, like the words that get strung together sometimes. It's like, okay, are you answering a question? Did somebody ask you what you wanted for lunch, or like it's bizarre, but it is very funny to hear some of the voice lines just once through. Our other quarterly, which I haven't played just yet, is Kamui. That is I think it's a PC game. Yeah. That's a PC game I have not picked up, so I don't have any opinions on that one just yet, although I've heard it's very visually difficult to parse from certain individuals, which I trust their judgment in that. From the little bit that I've seen being played, it's kind of hard to see, but hey, whatever. It's shmups for you sometimes. My Sunday long plays have been exclusively Dead Cells with the new Castlevania DLC. That is still paying off very well. I've gotten to fight the second boss in the DLC edition 3 times.
Okay.
No, sorry, twice. Got my ass entirely handed to me the first time. Got about 2/3 of the way through what I presume is only the first phase the second time. And I haven't gotten back to him since. So we'll see what this Sunday brings with that. I'm playing a lot of Everspace 2 as well, since that just dropped a week or so ago. Very fun. It's easy to get lost in. It's very much in the vein of Everspace 1, where it's kind of space flight sim combat type stuff, but very much more of a full-on single-player campaign versus the standard roguelite, restart every time type thing. So that's that's good and bad because I get distracted a lot by all the little side bits, and it'll be like 2 hours before I go to the actual waypoint I wanted to go to.
Right.
It's like, oh, hey, distress call. Oh, something of mine. Oh, I can go kill this guy. It's like crap.
That's how I play games.
Right? And suddenly it's like 1 a.m. It's like, ah, shit, I didn't do the main campaign mission I set out to do. What the hell?
Oop.
Still, very fun game. I have been playing a little bit of OG Doom in the interim as well. Some more proc gen levels just because it's easy to boot up and blast through and have a good time with the Isabel companion mod turned on because it's just so fun.
I forgot about that until you just reminded me.
Right, yeah, it's funny.
Nice.
It's too funny. Yeah, I think that's about it. Not too much this time. All right, well, I think it's time for Toonskis Part 2, huh?
Sounds good.
All right, let's start off with a remix from Super Mario Bros. Entitled Superstar by Neon X. Then moving on to a remix from Super Mario RPG entitled Booster and the Sniffit Quartet by Hemophiliac. And then finally a remix from Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links entitled The Arc That Spans the Heavens by Timaeus222. All right. So there was a giggle from the corner there when you pulled up the link for our design thing.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, there's a set of things that we cannot use because we are a principled sort. But what can we not use for our set of game design
All right.
things?
One each. Genre, rule, setting, and theme. The first is dating sim, of course.
Of
Okay,
course.
good.
The rule is don't stop moving.
Got that one out
Woo-woo.
of the way.
Oh, boy.
The setting is mafia,
Ah.
and the theme is survival. Bang, bang, bang.
Oh,
anyway,
my
yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. There's many ways you can design a game around that. I'm
Alright.
childish enough where it would just turn into something with sexual humor. So
I
anyway,
mean, yeah.
Moving along.
yep. We good for roll number 1? Actually, we should explain the rules.
Right. Yes.
So we get 3 chances to make a game with the things that are rolled for us off of this lovely web page. If we choose to pass up on one of the rolls, we can't go back to it. So let's say we move from roll 1 to roll 2. We don't like roll 2 either. We're stuck with roll 3. We cannot re-roll any more past that. We have to make a game.
We must use those things.
So, yeah, we've made some real winners in the past.
We
but-
sure have. Yeah, but I think mostly it's been from roll 2 and roll 3. We've done very few roll 1s.
Yeah, this is true. Because there's always like well, I kind of want to see more.
Right?
Because how often do I get to push this generate button?
Well, honestly, usually the roll 1 stuff has not been great historically.
Yeah.
Like, it's just been kind of, yeah, we could do this, but it's like it's just missing something, or it's just like, or it's too easy sometimes too.
Yeah, that's true. Although I think I have a bias for like, ooh, let's make things spicy by keep pushing the button.
But
that's
that could
just
also
me.
true. That can also backfire severely too.
Oh, and it
Yeah.
has.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Spectacularly.
There is
but
always the allure of the possible next
Right.
option.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
The-
Yes, you do.
The power of the one more.
So, shall we?
Let's go.
Roll number 1. I push the button. 1 each. Okay. The genre is third-person shooter.
All right.
Okay.
The rule is you are the weapon.
All right.
Okay.
The setting is Western.
Okay.
And the theme is forgiveness.
Huh. All right.
Hmm.
I don't know.
That's
The
that's
Western theme kind of
that's
throws it off a
that's
little.
a mix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Space Western.
And some
Western. Sounds weird.
Bru- Bruce Lee in Wild Wild West instead of Will Smith, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Sure, I guess.
Uh,
I'm kind of like, where would the "you are the weapon" thing come
Oh,
in?
actually, no. You saying Space Western kind of helped put it together for me because, like, you could be like an AI war drone
mm,
ship in
okay.
some,
yeah.
That
rogue
learns to
frontier
forgive.
galaxy, and your entire purpose was to fight some, ancient galactic war or something.
Like actual AI though, not whatever we consider AI to be today.
Right.
Not GPT-4.
Markov chains, hooray!
Yeah.
Heard some interesting things today about companies losing valuable proprietary data because it ended up in a GPT model that there's no way to pull that data back out of or remove it from.
Oop.
Samsung has entered the chat.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not committed to this
Kind of
one.
loose, yeah.
all right. We're going to roll number 2.
Roll number dos.
Okay. 1 each again. The genre is art game, which I'm pretty sure is the only time we've gotten that. The rule is build your way out.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The setting is parallel universe. So I can already see some things happening here. And the
Okay.
theme is spy thriller. So this has potential.
Art game, build your way out. Parallel universe spy thriller. Huh.
Go on.
Okay.
I'm thinking here, like, art game could easily just be something like, oh no, we're using paintballs and stuff instead of bullets and painting a level of
Well,
blood.
so when I hear art game followed by build your way out, I'm immediately thinking back to like it was more of the thing in like 2000s 2010s, but like those games where you would draw something or write something, and then the game would interpret that
like,
into a
yeah.
physical model in the game. And
Scribble Knots kind of comes to mind a
Or
little
drawn
bit.
to
Yeah.
life.
Drawn to
or,
life.
Yep,
Or yeah.
I don't remember
Those
the
good
name, but there
DS
was
games.
one on PlayStation that I played once or twice at someone else's that
Huh.
stuck in my brain. That was like a 3D type deal where you would draw a 2D thing and it would make a 3D object in the game based on what you drew.
Okami.
A little bit, yeah. This is definitely serviceable. More
Yeah.
serviceable than the last one.
Yep.
Parallel universe and spy thriller, like for whatever reason, sticks spy versus spy in my head.
That's
'Cause,
fair.
black spy, white spy,
Uh-huh.
trying to one up each other and all that. Like that's parallel universe ish, I guess.
Yeah, I
Been a while since I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly forgot about it. It would work.
It would.
Show's over.
We did it.
Roll credits.
And scene.
Yeah.
So now the risk we take is, do we take that third roll
Uh-huh.
and discard this very serviceable set of things, or do we just go with this one?
It feels like there are fewer opportunities to branch in different directions to come up with something different. It feels like this one is a lot of this has sort of been done, and we would just be
really?
throwing in a couple flavorful mechanics that make it different.
I don't get that sense from this set, but
That's fair. Go on.
well, I don't know, like it doesn't feel like art games or that sort of thing are really in vogue lately. I haven't seen as much of that kind of
Yeah, I wouldn't say lately. Yeah.
game in the last 5, 10, and it seems like there's more to be explored there potentially.
What about things like Chicory though?
I guess I never played that one, so
Neither
I don't
have
know
I.
much about the gameplay.
But honestly, it kind of feels like a similar premise
Really?
in that you are making art to progress through a storyline.
I guess, yeah.
True. Yeah.
Parallel universe would obviously, give that a different vibe, especially spy thriller.
Yeah, and you have a lot of flexibility with this as far as like what's your visual style, what's the gameplay actually like. Like this set of criteria doesn't really pin you in too much on having a game that looks or feels a certain way.
Yeah, that's true. See, like, this whole parallel universe thing just reminds me of Portals. Like, a spy thriller, like, getting out of sight just in time by overwriting the thing that they would be seeing with this blank wall instead or something like that.
Well, I can see that working, because art game and build your way out together, to me, kind of feels very much more like sculpture rather than drawing or like painting or stuff like that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like a 2D.
Right. It speaks more to the physical volumetric than flat 2D type stuff.
I suppose.
I mean, if you took build your way out literally, building your way towards the exit or the end of the stage or whatever that happens to be, build your way towards the goal.
That's fair. I mean, you can also do subtractive art too by going into these parallel universes and chopping off certain things that you'd be like, oh, yep, that'd be great, and then taking it back and plastering it onto your whatever your thing you're building, I guess. I don't know. I
feel like if I were more of an artsy fellow, that this might speak to me more, but
probably. I am not a creative type.
yeah. Well, it's
Not this way, at
creative in different ways, right?
Yeah.
It's giving me ideas, but I'd have to think on it longer to come up with something that was
Right.
like solidly viable as a game concept.
Sounds like we're signing ourselves over to number 3 then.
All right.
Okay.
Roll number 3. We got
Here
to
we
take it this
go.
time.
Oh no. What have we done?
Remind me what 4X is. It's
Oh,
exploration.
We get 4X again.
Yeah.
Oh boy. You know
Actually,
what?
we have 2 genres. There's one that's tied with that one, or
You know
tied
what?
into that one.
I have a general sense of what 4X is, but let's see what it
I
actually is.
vaguely remember looking this up last time.
Right. Explore, expand, exploit, exterminate.
All right. Well,
What is the
Two-
example?
Like
Civ.
it's a subgenre of strategy based. Yeah, Age of
Okay.
Empires, Civ.
Sure.
Yeah.
okay, so we have 2 genres, one each of rules, setting, and theme.
Okay. 4X and
Turn-based.
Oh, well, that's not much of it.
All right. Well, that's not much of a split
Gee,
between
you just
those.
described most 4X games.
Yep.
Okay. 4X turn based. Got it.
And the rule is everything is connected. The setting
Okay.
is alternate history.
Okay, I'm just waiting for the last shoe to drop here. Come on.
And the theme is addiction.
Okay,
Okay.
That's-
There you
That's
go.
better.
That's the. Oh wait, this isn't a game that's been made several times by Microsoft.
Alternate history was the second last one, right?
Yeah.
And addiction.
So,
Interesting.
okay, so now the first thing that comes to mind for me is the various shenanigans with exporting opioids to Asian nations as
I was thinking drug trade as
right,
well.
yeah.
We're back to calculator games again. Nice.
Oh boy. Yeah, that was definitely
Drug
the
wars.
thing. Yeah, that was definitely the thing in high school. for sure.
Yikes.
So we have Risk, but it's a drug empire. Got it.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Sure. Or Narcos or wow.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
All right, let's think of some other things though. Like what else could there be an addiction to instead of just the obvious with drugs?
Well, you could.
can be addicted to almost anything, right? So
Yeah.
behavioral addiction, gambling, and
Addiction to power.
power. Yeah.
If you wanted to get meta, you could make the game itself addictive in nature, but
Just one more turn.
that's just
I mean,
something
the
that
power
a
of
lot
the
of
one
games
more, right?
try to do anyway.
This
So
is apparently what Vampire Survivors was basically all about, was just one more turn.
I mean, kind of. Yeah.
Yay, gambling psychology.
Except there were no microtransactions, so it worked out.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Hmm.
Like, I want to think about more unique ways we could take addiction, because otherwise, this is another thing that just writes itself.
Right.
yeah,
I was about to say that if that fourth one turned up to be pretty much exactly like Civ or Age of Empires, I would have called an audible and done a fourth roll because there's no reason for us to do this.
Yeah, I mean, like, at some point, maybe for next April cough, it would be, oh, it is April. Damn, I could
Yeah,
have trolled you all. No, just read off something that's super fucking obvious what it is and be like, that's what it rolled.
Yeah, more or less, right?
Nah, I mean, honestly, this is what it made.
But yeah,
so-
but addiction saved it. I never thought I'd
Yeah.
utter those words in sequence, but addiction saved it.
Yike.
So I feel like there is more we can work with as far as alternate history and everything is connected. Because, yes, obviously, like Civ is an alternate history game. So, like, you can have that very on its face interpretation of it. But you could also be more specific and say, like, oh, this is a history where X thing is different, and
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
put in some creative constraints there.
I need to get this out of my brain. Unrelated. they posted a new generator on this website called the game title generator. It's going to help
Oh,
us.
perfect. Yes.
But the first thing it rolled for me was Jedi Squirrel Episode 1. Moving on.
Okay.
I had to
well,
open
I
that in a new
mean,
tab, which of course rolls it. So
Sure.
anyway,
Okay. Well, that's perfect because the titles are sometimes the hardest things to do. All right. So yeah, good point about the alternate history stuff. Even though that's exactly what a lot of these games do, which is why you end up with Gandhi with nukes sometimes.
I suppose.
overflow. Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, so of all of these, I think then alternate history and addiction are the two we can play with the most.
Yep.
Or the easiest ones to kind of to tweak here. So if we don't do like the literal substance addiction, whatever it happens to be, what are some other angles of addiction we could try to target?
Deliberately causing political unrest in the world. Cough.
Topical.
Ooh. Here's a weird take on this set of things. So, so 4X, but you're trying to push a technology or a company's product rather than like a nation or territory, and everything is connected because you're dealing with a new VR technology that's taking things by storm, and so people are getting addicted to the virtual world, and it's rapidly taking over all aspects of society, and you're trying to be on the bleeding edge of this cultural and technological revolution and get your network or interface hardware to be the
It sounds a lot like Sword Art Online.
I haven't watched it, so I can't say I'm familiar. Alternately, you could take the approach of like rather than a company or a hardware, it could be, you know, your domain. You're trying to get more people to join so that your particular, you know, because who's to say that the entire VR universe is connected? What if there's like, you know, your Metaverse A and
Yeah, I was waiting for that to come,
Network
to come in
C
here.
and, you know.
Okay, what was that somewhat parody-like spy movie recently in the last 5 to 10 years where the big bad was giving people out free cell phones?
Kingsman.
Was that the first or the second?
Oh,
Because I thought it was Kingsman, I just couldn't remember which one it was.
That was the silly one where it ended with everyone's heads exploding.
Yes.
That would have been Kingsman 2 then.
I think that was number 2. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Kind of made me think of that. Like, hey, here's this free technology for free. Cough. Yeah, kind of made me think of that. Literally everyone is connected. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We don't have to
So-
take this that direction. It was just an idea.
No, it's technology addiction, which is, you know, a real thing, kind of. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Alternate history, though. Like, so say we went that direction, how could we make this an alternate history thing? Like, if people had unlimited access to a font of ideas because of some sort of network, doesn't even necessarily have to be like the internet proper,
Right,
but like
right.
magic tomes or whatever. Like,
We had some sort of alternate advancement
ooh,
earlier in our timeline or something like that.
kind of makes me think of Zeal.
Huh? Okay.
They got too smart for their own good, and then it became corrupt. Yeah, kind of makes me think of Zeal. Great part of Chrono Trigger. Of course, alternate history.
That would track very closely, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Damn. Civ but Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger but Civ. Love it. Ship it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Huh.
Maybe we should have stuck to Western whatever.
I mean, I like this
Hmm.
one. I'm just
Yeah,
looking
it's
for my
just-
my one thing that's my hook into everything else. So I usually just like stumble on it at some point, and then it cascades. Um, I keep thinking of steampunk,
Hmm.
and that could be a route. So if we did go with something like steampunk, they were able to develop their technology so quickly because, hooray, everything's powered by crystals, we'll say. So they were addicted to mining crystals, and they were overzealous and didn't think about the potential safety implications, and then everything started blowing up or something.
Hmm.
Not some sort of crystal poisoning. Is this the steampunk equivalent of mercury or lead or something?
I mean, maybe so, but
Yeah,
I mean,
could be
like,
both, really.
it could be something where such constant exposure would turn somebody host to the will of the crystal or something like that. Like, it could be like this corruption that happens the more you deal or handle them or something like that.
This is sounding very JRPG.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think about different directions this could go in. It's not a drug trade yet.
Sounds
That's
it
that's
sounds
true.
very much kind of like first half, where the first half is the 4x whatever you want to expand this to, however, globally, worldwide, whatever, and then you realize it's bad, and now you have to try to claw it back.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, everybody is addicted to progress because this has
Right.
been advancing society at such a clip. Um,
Okay.
Suddenly, I'm reminded of Dune.
I was gonna say this is a,
Yeah.
well, I was
This
gonna
is
make
cool.
the this is an allegory for fossil fuels thing, but
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, not wrong there either.
oh look, our world has been destroyed by these crystals. Fuck.
Okay. We pursue that angle a little bit then.
Sure, why not? Let's continue down that path. Hooray!
Okay, so in this particular
In this
uh,
history, in this alternate timeline
yeah,
of
this
ours.
this setting, then how do you make the everything is connected bit fit into things?
So these crystals are discovered as some sort of power source or catalyst or
Yeah,
whatever.
basically. Like, they can be used for different things, primarily as a mode of transportation, but it also, because of that, allowed people to explore the world,
Right. Their
which
use
had connected them.
starts very localized, and then suddenly we can now reach beyond our current frontiers.
And of
Right.
course, you spread the technology as you go,
Mhm,
And you
and of
search
course,
for
you
new
charge people
sources
for it,
of
etc.
Right.
materials. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in trade for having the technology, you allow us to mine these resources, etc. If we wanted to go that route, there's the exploitation part.
so the
Uh,
connectedness is something that you are actively bringing about as a result of the spread of this technology.
Ooh, you could even go into far JRPG land and say that these crystals are like the essence of Gaia, and the more you farm them, the more pissed off the world becomes and tries to destroy everything that's destroying it.
oh no, this is Spirits Within all over again. Sort of.
Sort of, yeah, I guess. Shit, it's been a while. Dr. Aki Ross.
So another question then, if you have this as a 4X game, you're not just expanding and establishing, you typically also have some kind of thing that you're competing against.
Ooh.
right? And that's the second half, I think. Once you learn that this is
Okay,
ultimately
okay.
harmful, now you're trying to undo that, which clearly you can't very easily.
Yay, eco-terrorism!
Yeah, a little bit.
It brings us back to that again. I love you, JRPGs.
It's a fun idea, but then you also have from a gameplay and game mechanics standpoint, how do you set up the game so that you don't self-sabotage the first half to make it easier on yourself in the second
Right,
half? You
right,
have to
yeah.
properly incentivize the player for the whole experience. You can't rely solely on it being a plot surprise that the stuff you were doing at the beginning of the game is counter to what you want in the second half.
So I think that we could get around that by treating it like a traditional 4X game where when things happen, you're prompted to choose between different results. And there's not necessarily a bad result. It just kind of shapes the direction that the story goes.
Hmm.
Like, you get to choose what you want to put your resources in, but you have to spend your resources. Or you're penalized, I guess, but you'd have to come up with a way with
Well, I mean,
where you're penalized in a way that doesn't like make the second part of the game easier.
presumably there's some kind of fail condition for gameplay throughout, and so you wouldn't, at the very least, you would need to survive through to the second half of the game. But
See, now I'm starting to think, of course, FF7. Ha ha ha, eco-terrorism with Avalanche. But, like, they've started sucking Mako out of the planet, and they've had all of these Mako plants throughout the game. They're destroying the life force, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, that's kind of the same thing, I just realized. And the planet's mad and sends its weapons against you, and okay, yeah, that's basically FF7, never mind.
So then it becomes a question of if you're the first or only purveyor of this, or are you, in the first half at least, fighting against other purveyors of this new crystal thing? That would incentivize you to at least complete through to the second half, because if you don't become the most prominent one, then I mean it's almost effectively game over, right?
Right. So I guess it might be easier to give it the frame of mind as if you were the Scholars of Zeal, in a way, where you found this miraculous thing. It has all of these qualities that are amazing, but you don't know the depth of it yet, and you don't know to what end it'll bring you, I guess. Oh no, we've summoned Lavos. Fuck.
Hmm.
Etc.
well, and now that I'm thinking of it more, going back to your good old modern world analog thing, being the nation or group to amass the most power and resources by exploiting this technology would also position you with the most power and resources when time came to oops, we need to
try to undo it, right?
try to so that would potentially put you in the crooked good guy shoes where you're like, oh, I benefited heavily off of this thing, but oops, it's actually bad. Let me do something about it.
Oh no, this lithium was really condensed demon souls all along. Fuck.
No wonder it's so reactive.
Such flames. Shit, what was I just thinking about earlier today? That was along the lines of, oh crap, we made this monstrosity and we have to fix it now that we've caused this huge problem.
Was it my cooking?
You didn't cook today. I destroy it with my teeth. This is weirdly deja vu for me thinking earlier today, like, there was this, oh crap, we need to fix this and destroy our own stuff. What was I thinking of? It must have been something I was reading earlier today. Yeah. We've built this empire on insert whatever happens here because of the decisions that you make in this 4X game. And suddenly it turns out that blank happened as a result. And now you either need to choose to let the world die in ruin or try to dig your way out of this disaster, I guess.
And
You
what
can't keep making money if you don't have people to make money from.
Eh. Have we made an allegory of capitalism?
Yes.
Crap.
Hmm.
Okay, so what are the decision points that make up these turns then?
So I think I want to take it a step back.
Okay.
So I think we need to figure out what the resource is that really kind of gets this whole ball rolling. And I don't necessarily think it has to be one specific thing. I think it would be the result of whatever you put your most research into at the beginning of the game. So say if you went into mining, you might find something like a crystal or some new element or whatever the case is, but if you went into chemistry, you might find something else, etc.
It sounds like, regardless, like this is kind of to enable this kind of storyline, it has to be some kind of, revolutionary once in a century discovery
Oh,
that
for sure.
Mhm.
modernizes everything. And
But like being able to have it be different things kind of makes the story able to branch out some more.
I guess, but then you also get into kind of your plausibility in that you like have to have some kind of severe downside for each of those things that would also happen to, make it so that society would be completely ruined if you did nothing to stop it. And
But the way I'm thinking about it makes me think that this could absolutely be a board game.
Well, if it all revolves around the same central thing, say whatever these crystals are, but then you choose to refine or alter them in some way in different forms, like
yeah, maybe it's what you do with them.
chemistry or overt technology or I don't know, power generation or something like that. That sets you up for the second half where, oh shit, I went full on into chemistry. Now, what are the other aspects of it that we can use to dismantle that, to balance it out or
Sure.
whatever?
Sure, that
Yeah.
actually, yeah. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. And on that note, if I were on the note of making it a board game, if you finally did like turn the card over that is like, here's the MacGuffin for the game, it would have its strengths and weaknesses on there, so that would help you strategize how you wanted to go up
Mhm.
against it.
Hmm.
But you would
And-
also have to convince people to join your effort, otherwise, say like a game of Pandemic, you won't be able to get the win condition because you're not able to contain it.
Right.
You could have some really interesting just changes in mechanics in the second half of the game depending on what your first half choice was. Like, you have your society based on technology that uses the crystals for transport, or you have the using the crystals for uh, some kind of communication or information technology,
Ooh.
or you could have like go full on Dune and have the crystals can be used for psychic powers, but
I
you know,
thought of a
that
way to make this work.
would have the enemy kind of group do different things for each one.
Mm-hmm.
We can make this a card and dice game. So you draw cards, you roll dice, and what you roll on the die determines the outcome that you read off on the card, and that forces you to play in a specific way.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
how successful you are at like, all right, so we've gotten past the build phase, I guess we can call it. And now it's the destroy phase or the savior phase or whatever.
Right.
Like you have to convince other people that this is a problem. Like you're going to talk to the society that's using it for mass transit with no, I don't know, environmental impact or whatever the case is. Like, oh yay, we can instant transmission everywhere now because of these amazing crystals and whatnot. Now you have to convince us not to use them? What the fuck? So, like, based on your dice rolls, that determines how successful you are at making them an ally or barely convincing them or making them not like you at all and saying fuck you, etc.
So you amass these certain victory points, I guess, associated with these actions, and then if you hit critical mass and move on to the second half, then it kind of reverses, and based on the choices of your actions and how successful you are with them, have you invested like all in on one aspect, or have you tried to balance it out a little bit so that will affect your second half?
And that kind of turns it into a player versus the game kind of game then,
Mm-hmm.
which that's kind of fun. Um, you fucked it up, now you get to unfuck it.
So
Everyone
then,
style.
so then, does it turn into okay 1v1v1v1 versus 4 versus environment essentially, huh? Or like 3 versus the one who won the first half?
I mean, I honestly, if you wanted to make it really massive, yeah, sure, make it competitive. Um, but if you wanted it to be, I almost think it would be better to have it be a all players together against the game, trying to win the game, kind of like how Pandemic works.
Hmm.
For the entire thing?
I think so. Maybe I. It might be interesting to switch things up for the first half, just to see which technology or whatever thing wins its foothold in the world, I guess, and becomes like the dominant miracle or whatever. Yeah, I think that could be okay. Sure. Oh, okay. And in that case, each player would have their own like miracle card with its pros and cons on it then. I see. Okay.
Okay.
And then depending on which one wins there, it suddenly turns into a, oh hey, we all need to work together to undo this terrible thing that I've done. Oops.
Okay.
It's kind of like the opposite of House on the Hill. Because you're cooperative to begin with, and then
You're competitive to
sort of
get out, sort of. Is that,
kind
am I
of
remembering that
depending,
right?
like you have the witch
Okay.
usually, but it's kind of every person for themselves at the end. Usually, that's how people play it.
Yeah, house rules and all that, right?
Yeah.
Haha, I get it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, feel free to fill in on that if you'd like to. I'm just
Yeah.
kind of jotting down.
I just ended up having the link pop up for the Let's Make a Game generation that was covering everything you were typing, so I was just reading
Right,
it.
right. Okay, so board and or card. Dice and or card. I don't know. How do you describe that?
So like, okay, the way I envision it in my head
Builder.
is that you have tiles that you build out to determine what the played world looks like. And that's a turn by turn kind of thing. And there are phases, which I guess the first thing would be a build phase. Like, hey, we're starting to develop our nation, we're starting to explore more, we add more of these tiles to build the map out.
I see.
And then occasionally you would find tiles that have resources on them that you can use to put into this technology card that you get, like, hey, this is the thing that my society is going to build toward. These are the resources I need. These are the things I need to find in order to fulfill this. Oh yeah, that actually would determine the winner then for the first half. So if you explore out and find the resources that you need first, then your technology is the prevailing technology, or whatever your thing is.
Right. Yeah.
So that could work. So like it'd be, I don't know, you could do a hex grid. Those are fun. So you'd have these hex map tile pieces. Like everybody starts with one wherever they are, and it just kind of builds out and eventually meshes together. And I guess the first person / team to fulfill all of the requirements for their technology wins that first half of the game. So that determines what your win condition is at the end by destroying that thing that they just won by coming up with the resources first.
Okay.
So I think that covers all of 4X and turn-based.
And everything is connected, kind of flips over on the second half there.
Yeah, and I mean, even everything is connected where the hex tiles will eventually be forced to touch each other.
Mm-hmm. Lewd.
Alternate history.
I mean,
We're literally making our own
constructing
histories
it,
here.
right? Yeah.
And addiction is, oh no, this technology card. This technology is super great. Oh fuck, it's completely destroying the world. Yeah, okay, that covers it all.
Okay.
Is this like the first deliberate board game we've made?
That didn't already have it included in the 4 role choices there
Yeah.
thing? Probably.
I feel like you've talked about like, oh, this could be a board game
Yeah.
before, but
it's never
not
been our
like,
primary
yeah.
But
thing.
now
I don't
the
think.
player's input method, graphic style, audio style, etc. is
Right.
board game.
Yeah.
Love
which
it.
is
Well,
which
one
is
of-
good.
One of
honestly.
the
I
fun things
hate
with
filling
board
those in.
games too is like there's no reason you can't have both a digital
Right. it could
online
be
game
very
Oh, yeah.
version
much
and
that.
a physical copy.
And/or
There's
card,
plenty of good board
like-
games that have both.
Yeah, I think that you would end up using map tiles, probably hex tiles. You would have cards that would, one, tell you what each other's technology was, so you knew what kind of
Mhm.
thing you were going for. You would have cards that you would draw if you found a tile with an event on it or a resource, so you can determine how many resources you get from it.
Or what kinds of resources or what
Mhm,
sort of things you
mhm.
discover there. Yeah.
And then in the second half of the game, when you're trying to draw cards to determine what you're doing and how successful you are, you would introduce dice rolls to determine the impact of the card you draw.
Hmm.
Actually, okay, much like Pandemic, you're playing against a clock in the second half then.
Mhm.
Let's say you have like 20 turns in order to...
You have to deconstruct something or completely drain some aspect of what you've built.
Otherwise,
Mhm.
the world's fucked.
Yeah, otherwise you lose.
Yeah, okay. I think that actually fits that pretty well. So you introduce dice rolls in the second half of the game so that you can determine the effectiveness of those event cards that you draw. I
Okay,
guess.
still event and action cards in the second half.
Yeah, if you
right?
wanted
Yeah,
to do that, sure. I mean, there's other ways you could take that too, I'm sure.
sure.
Oh. I just had a thought that if you didn't want it to be quite as on its face as an allegory for pollution or environmental damage or those sorts of things, you could instead take the tact that there's the discovery of some impending Armageddon from an external source that you simply
Do you
have no other means of dealing with other than amassing all of the available
to
crystals to
use it to
use it, to
yeah.
blast the asteroid that's
defend
going
sure,
to come
why
destroy
not?
the planet or something.
To create your linear launcher. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, I mean, actually, that could just be a game mode.
Or close the portal to hell or whatever
Right.
the case is. Yeah.
Sure.
Like you have to take these certain actions, and maybe you're not explicitly deconstructing all you built,
Oh.
but you have to do it in time,
Right.
in order to make
So-
it work.
I guess another card type that you would draw one of, probably, is a win condition card. So it could
So it's
be
not always the same
Mhm.
thing.
come together as a world with all of your technologies and resolve a crisis, or it could
Mhm.
be, oh no, this is overflowed and we were ignorant in our power seeking and now we need to get rid of this before it causes Armageddon itself.
Right.
So yeah, sure,
If
why
you
not?
really want, you could play around with that too and have it be like, oh, the player who was using the crystals for psychic powers got too strong and they started trying to create the singularity and amass
Mhm.
all of
Mhm.
human intelligence into one thing, and you have to fight them off or something.
Damn you, Shala.
And then that turns it into a, one player versus everyone else kind of game.
Right. Yeah.
So many possibilities. Yay, cards!
Okay.
Well, having a card game that has more flexibility in it for win conditions is fun because
Oh,
that is
yeah.
a difficulty with board games is they can easily start to feel
Samey?
samey if you
Mhm.
don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
good
Mhm.
replayability
Jamie
or
and
good variety.
one-sided, and here's what works to win. So we're just gonna
Once
keep
you
pursuing that.
Once you find the meta, it's very static. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we actually have a really solid base with this.
Yeah, it's fun.
Like, Maybe we should try to prototype something sometime.
I'm just gonna replace that all with the double quotes marks. That means repeat.
Yes.
I am a lazy son bitch. All right.
Use that at work all
Control
the time.
C, Control V, Control V,
I
Control
could do that, but it looks messy. Whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. I get you.
All right. So then we come down to the most difficult part of all. All right.
Ooh! Time to spin the generator.
Now we can
Jedi squirrels, go.
see if the first random thing matches what we've got here in any respect.
Mad Mind.
Could
That's
be
not
worse.
bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just write some of these down. I'm
Sure.
gonna keep generating just to
Okay.
see if we get any winners here.
Mad Mind or
Cursed Ego.
okay, also pretty solid.
Subtitle, there you go.
Oh no.
Gods with guts.
Wandering Fashion Wasteland.
That's a miss.
Oh,
That's hilarious.
that's a pretty good one. Yeah.
All right. Whispers and Knights. Knights.
Oh. But also,
Imperial Caveman Legend.
Okay.
I mean,
It's not bad.
Extreme Pogo in Vegas.
Oh, that's a sports game. All right. I get you.
Shuffleboard Heroes.
I
Anyway.
think
Yeah,
we've
more or
probably
less.
pressed that button.
Oh
enough
no,
times
no,
for
no!
now.
I'm continuing. This is crack.
Boy.
Magic Speed Troopers.
I'm gonna stop writing these down because they don't make any sense.
Space Dating Combat with a K.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we're done.
Fusion Rage. Ultra Works. This is a game studio.
Like
now.
the first two work the best, and then the
Yeah,
rest of these have been
I
not.
really do think the first two were on it.
But you don't like Strategize of Violation?
No.
Strategize. Yeah,
Strategize?
that,
Or
Yeah.
strategies.
No, it's
Nope.
Strategize.
Strategize with a Z, huh?
This
Yeah.
is like a poorly translated game.
Wild.
Sounds great.
Castle Zone.
Castle Zone. Hey, I could get into that.
Anyway,
All right, so Mad Mind or Cursed Ego then. Cursed Ego actually sounds kind of rad.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that fits the whole theme
Cursed
we were
Ego it
going for.
is.
It's taking away all of the stupid parts that we can never think of good things for.
Right?
And replacing it with randomizers. I love it. Let's do it.
We have
Shit.
automated away the worst parts of this task.
Chat GPT, write me a game
Oh
concept.
no.
It just made the greatest title. Borderlust.
Oh, I don't get to see.
Borderlust.
It's literally Borderlust.
Okay.
Honestly, though,
That's
honestly,
not bad.
That is
either
a good
for this
4X
particular
title.
one. Yeah.
I don't know about this one.
Ooh, they could be the subtitle though. Cursed Ego,
Cursed Ego,
Borderlust.
Borderlust. Okay, fine. If we agree to cut it off there, fine. We'll put it.
And Knuckles.
And
All right.
Knuckles.
All right, cool.
Very good. We have
I'm
done a
happy
game.
with that.
We've done
We
a
sure
game
have.
against all odds. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of round 110 there. Any further thoughts, conundrums, etc. before we hang it up for tonight?
Don't think so.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us once again, everybody. I'm Mr. Bond.
And I'm Tormod.
And I'm Vlad.
And we'll leave you with our typical closing track. Maybe that'll be changing sooner rather than later. Remix from Mario Kart Wii entitled Wind in Your Hair by Overclocked University. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.